look around. It's imperative to keep ourselves prepared for any possibility. Stay tuned for a look at what we've been prepping. Back here is a brand new kitchen toy. Now you might be wondering where this is an electrical appliance, why I would consider this a prepping item. Now over here I've got, this box came and I was like, what is this? What did I order? We had been looking around for better food options for our pets, but something happened recently that made me kind of step it up a little bit. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to all of our new friends. Today I've got a Prepper Pantry haul, just a little look at what we're stocking up on this week, why we're stocking up on these things, what kind of gear we're adding to our supplies, and hopefully this will give you some ideas or some inspiration to get started or to keep going, because it's so important right now to position ourselves to take care of ourselves and our people when push comes to shove. So take a moment this week to evaluate where you want to be and what you need to do to get there, or what you can do to step it up and improve on what you've done or been doing. And above all, make sure you're truly using and rotating your preps and replacing it on the other end with new stuff, because that really is so important. Even if you have things with a 25-year shelf life, the last thing you want to do is to risk letting it sit there for 24 years. Start using it. Shop your home store first. That's rules to live by. Now let's get into it and see what we've added to our preps and our Prepper Pantry this week. All right, I'm gonna first start with this stuff over here, and these first couple of things that I have are for like supplements and medications. Now I don't really take any kind of prescription medications, but I have been using a lot of supplements lately because I think it's super important. Part of preparedness is to have our health be top-notch and to have our immune system be strong, in case, you know, we get into situations where there's a lot of threats to that or we don't have medical care available. So this first thing is just something that I saw on, I'm getting really into organizing, kitchen organizing and stuff, and I saw this on somebody's video. This will hold multiple bottles of supplements or pills, medications, whatever you have. So instead of having a lot of different bottles up in your cupboard, which is what I have right now, you can just have one with many different items inside. So I'm going to give this a try and see how this works, just to keep me organized and to help reduce some of the clutter in the cabinets, all the bottles that are falling out all the time. Something I'll probably pick up more of if this works well. It did come with some labels that were pre-printed, but I don't want to use the labels it came with, so I've got to get out my label maker that makes thin strips of labels so that I can label this. And then this next item here, this actually, to be honest, this was much bigger when it arrived than I thought it was when I ordered it. So I'm a little bit unsure about this, but what this is a case to keep medications organized, or supplements in my case. And it basically has a case for every day with 4 different sections for different times of the day. And then there's one for each day for a month's worth. So this can be really useful if you take supplements or medications or anything at a lot of different times of the day. But what I really liked about it, because I do take a lot of supplements at different times of the day, there's certain things that are better taken in the morning or at night, certain things you shouldn't take together, certain things you take with food, without food, different things like that. But what I really liked about this is that each day is a separate piece. So basically, if you needed to, this would be great for travel. If you knew you were traveling for, 3 or 4 days, you grab 3 or 4 things. But I think it would also be great for if you had to evacuate or something, you had to leave, you could grab just the number of days worth of medications or supplements that you needed for the time that you expected to be gone. And also if you're putting together like a 72-hour go bag, this would be great to pick out just 3 days worth of supplements, medication, whatever you need to keep in these. So even though this is bigger than what I expected it to be, I think I'll probably keep it and try using it. They did have other versions, with 3 times per day. They probably had them with 2 times per day, but I thought this was really nice for organizing my supplements. And next I have a few things that are going to be really useful for food preservation, which is a very important part of prepping. This first thing here is a chopper, and this actually is just like a chopper that I already have. It's actually the same brand, but I really love this chopper, and I had been thinking about getting a second one, because if you're doing a lot of food prep, sometimes it's in the dishwasher when I need it. And then I saw this one, and what I really liked about this one is, like I said, it's exactly the same as the one I have, except it has a drawer that comes out with the items that you chopped. The other one I have, you just have to take the whole top off, to get to the items that you chopped, which isn't really a big deal, but I really love the idea of having a drawer. And so since I had been thinking of getting another one, this was on sale. It was a really good deal at the time that I saw it, so I did grab it. It just works like this. It's got a very small grid, or it has a larger grid. So you can choose which size you want depending on what you're chopping. Like I use this one for onions, or if I'm making veggies for relish and things like that. You just lay your item on here and drop the thing down, and it chops it really, really well. This is great for onions if you're doing just like a little bit of onion for like a dinner or for tacos or something. You just take the peel off, cut the onion in half, lay the half there, and it chops the whole thing. It's awesome. And this one also has all these other parts. Now, like I mentioned, I already have something just like this, which has pretty much all of these parts, I believe, except for the spiralizer. So this is going to be kind of cool. I'm kind of excited to try the spiralizer to make different things. But what I really like this for is for the dicing blades. Like the grater, I don't ever use the grater on my other one. I would grate with something else. But I just love this tool, and I did kind of want a second one. So now I'm really happy with this one with the drawer. The only thing about the one with the drawer is the other one I have has like cups measured out onto the side, so you can tell how much you've chopped. And this one doesn't have that. But I am really excited to have this. And of course, it does come with this extra piece that can sit on top that has the mandolin slicer and a julienne cutter and things like that. It does have this little storage case which holds all the different accessories. And this is the spiralizer that it comes with, which is pretty cool. I've never seen one like this. You can do it like that, or you can do it like that, or you can do it like that. And that just has to do with how thin or thick of pieces of spiral you're going to get. And I can totally vouch for how well this thing works because, like I said, I do have basically the same thing, except for the base is a little bit different. So if you want to see this thing in action, I will link my zucchini relish video down below, and you can see how it works. And then the next thing I've got over here, these just arrived. This is a couple of items from FreezeDried. So these are a few accessories for our freeze dryer. So I'm really excited to get freeze drying again. We haven't been doing a whole lot of freeze drying lately because we just really haven't had time, honestly, for all the prep work that goes into it and all the after work and all that stuff. But we have got the garden going right now, so I do expect we're going to be freeze drying again pretty soon. So I got, this is a set of silicone liners for the trays. So this just makes it, easier to get things off the trays and to keep the trays clean the trays. Now this is a set of 5 mats. We actually have an older version of the FreezeDried medium, so we only have 4 trays in ours. They've improved them since we got ours, so now there's 5 trays in a medium. So this is going to have an extra mat, but that's fine. And then this is a set of lids for the trays. We do have an extra set of trays, so we have 2 sets of trays for our freeze dryer, but we don't have any lids. So we haven't really been doing a lot of, if you have extra trays, you can prepare the food ahead of time for your next run and put it in the freezer so it can be pre-freezing, and it just speeds everything up, makes it a lot more efficient. But we haven't had lids, so we haven't done a whole lot of that. There are different companies and brands that make lids that will fit the FreezeDried, but what I like about the FreezeDried brand lids is that these can also be used as trays. So these are safe to go right into the freeze dryer with food on them as a bottom tray. So essentially, it's not only getting a set of lids, but it's also getting another set of trays. So I'm really, really excited about this. So hopefully we'll have some videos coming up for you soon on freeze drying, but for now I'm going to link a playlist down below that has all the videos we've done so far on what we've freeze dried. And the next thing I've got back here is a brand new kitchen toy. Now you might be wondering where this is an electrical appliance, why I would consider this a prepping item. And that's because this is going to be really helpful for food preservation, which is a really important part of prepping. Now at first glance, this might just look like a regular food processor, a big food processor. But what this has that makes it different is this is actually the peel and dice model. So it can peel and dice items. You see it has dicing compatible right there. This is a Breville, and I have had my eye on this for probably almost a year. I've been dreaming about this and saving for this and planning for this. And then they came out with a different version. Breville came out with a newer version of this that also has dicing. And I was trying to make up my mind between the two of them. And then recently I just saw that this version, the earlier version, had been discontinued. And I had kind of a knee-jerk reaction because I do think that this one has a few features that I'm not sure the other one had. And so I just jumped and grabbed it while I had the chance because it wasn't going to be available anymore. It also comes with all of these accessories that are in this beautiful like little garage thing, which I love. I did have a food processor previously. I still have it. It's an old Cuisinart, basic Cuisinart. I got it used at a yard sale. Gosh, it's been probably at least 13 years since I got it for 10 bucks at a yard sale. And it works fine, but like I said, it doesn't have a lot of the extra capacity like this one has. I'm probably going to keep my old one just because one of the things I do a lot in it is grind up turkey carcasses that I've pressure cooked to make stuff for the animals. And so that's kind of just a yucky chore that I don't know if it's very good for the blades. So I'll probably keep the old one to do things like that. But this one, you can see it does all the typical things that a food processor would do. It has a mini bowl inside that does lift out. And then the main bowl has like a 16 cup capacity. So that's pretty awesome. It has a really wide chute, so you can fit like whole potatoes and stuff into this chute. It also has a second size and a really narrow one if you're doing like carrots or something like that, or rhubarb or anything. So that's something I was really excited about. And then it has all of these accessories, and they're all labeled really, really well, which I like because otherwise I might have a hard time with it. So you can see it has a whisk attachment that I've never seen on a food processor before. The slicing blade I love because it has this little part underneath where you can adjust it from 1 all the way up to 8, and it's different thicknesses. So you just twist that dial, and you can see where the slicing blade is closed right now. You can see as I turn this, the slicer gets thicker and thicker up to a really pretty thick slice, and then all the way back down to a paper thin slice. This top part lifts off, and then underneath there's some more different pieces, including the peeling disc, which I have no idea how this is going to work, but it's supposed to peel like round things like potatoes for you, beets, things like that. I've seen it on video working, but I'm interested to see how it works myself. And then my favorite feature and what I really bought the machine for is the dicing attachment. So you can push things down and it can dice them into little cubes this size. And this does come with protectors that protect the blades, and this covers up the really sharp part of that dicing grid because they are super, super sharp. If you've ever cut yourself on one of those, I have. Actually, on my little manual dicer that I just showed you, I've cut myself pretty good. It comes with something that's meant for cleaning out any last little bit of food that gets stuck in those dicing grids. You just push this through. This goes on to the end of the food pusher, and it pushes through that grid to push any remaining cubes out. And then in addition, I also got this, which is an additional dicing kit, which comes with a larger grid and a smaller grid for all the different dicing sizes that you might want to do. I do believe the newer version machine that they just came out with might come with all the different sizes of dicing grids. Like I mentioned, it was a knee-jerk reaction just to grab this machine while I still could, because I do think some of the features that this one has, namely the peeling and possibly the French fry cutting. It has a French fry cutter and a julienne cutter. This is the French fry cutter. I'm not sure if those were available on the newer model. So I really just wanted to grab this version while I had the chance. But like I said, this definitely was an investment. It's something that I've been thinking of and saving for quite a while. But I'm really, really excited to use this doing some food preservation as the garden gets finished. Now, this isn't really something you would use for small tasks. Like I said, just dicing up 1 onion or half an onion for dinner or for tacos or something. I would use the manual dicer that I have. This is going to be something that you're going to pull out for big batches, like when I make zucchini relish, it's big batches of chopping. When I make salsa, things like that, and chopping up tomatoes for salsa, this is going to be great for things like that. Some of you might remember it was about this time last year when we had some really unseasonable, really bad flooding in our area, and our whole garden flooded. And we basically lost almost everything in our whole garden last year. But this year, the garden is doing much better than it was last year, and we have taken some precautions against if we were to have flooding like that again, and hopefully we won't. So we are expecting a much better harvest out of the garden this year, so we are expecting to have a lot of food to preserve. Now, the next thing I got is I finally got the glass shade or chimney or whatever they call it for this lamp. Now, last one of my last hauls, I showed you this cute little oil lamp or kerosene lamp piece that I got for a mason jar. It came with this gold piece, and it did come with some wick, which I don't have with it, but it fits on any mason jar that you already have. This is a regular mouth mason jar. I thought that was super cool, and it did not come with the shade though, or the whatever they call the glass piece. So I grabbed, this was a 2-pack. I've only got one up here just to show you, just the glass piece that goes with this. And so now this will be a complete oil lamp or kerosene lamp that can be used in emergencies. I prefer like battery operated and rechargeable lighting just because of like fire dangers. I don't use a lot of candles and a lot of lamps, but I do have a fondness for lamps like this because when I was a child, this is what we used in our house because we didn't have electricity. So I do have a fondness for kerosene lamps. So I got this set, which I showed before, and the glass piece to make it complete. And next I've got a bunch of food things. Some of this was from Amazon, some was from obviously Walmart. I've got a few seasonings over here. I think seasonings are super important to be able to make a variety of different foods and flavors. And you know I love my meals in a jar. I love being able to duplicate our favorite meals in a shelf-stable, just add water jar meal. So I'm always picking up different seasonings. These are some really cool different things. This one right here says ground vanilla. It's a really small bottle. Now when I got this on Amazon, I think it said vanilla bean powder. Now I have vanilla powder. You've seen me use vanilla powder in my like baking, desserts in a jar and things, but this is actually powdered vanilla bean. So I'm thinking like the little specks that you see in like a vanilla bean ice cream flavor or something like that. So I thought this could be really awesome to use in certain things. I'm not really sure yet exactly where I'm going to use it, but I was pretty excited to see this. I'd never seen this before. I also saw this brown butter seasoning that I have never seen before. This is McCormick brown butter seasoning. This could be good for different desserts or different dishes, any place that you would use brown butter. I like to have seasonings that I can use in my jar meals where you need everything to be shelf stable. And who knows, this could be a good addition to maybe something like chocolate chip cookies if you don't want to take the time to actually brown the butter or something like that. So I was pretty excited to see this because I'd never seen this before. And then this one here is just a tamarind and pasilla chili seasoning, which I thought was pretty interesting. I've been looking for tamarind flavored seasonings for certain dishes. And so when I saw this, I thought this would be worth trying. I think it'll definitely be useful for certain dishes. I'm just not really sure how I'm going to use it yet. If you have any favorite dishes that you think this would be good in, let me know down in the comments. And then a couple of freeze-dried seasonings. We know that freeze-dried is always going to be the closest to fresh in any dried food. And so I've got jalapeno here because sometimes I want a little bit of heat in my jar meals. So I've got freeze-dried jalapeno, and then I've got some freeze-dried dill. That was one thing that did not sprout in our garden this year. Our dill seeds just didn't sprout for some reason, so we have no dill. So I have a lot of dishes, or not a lot, a few dishes that I would use fresh dill in. And so I grabbed this just to have something closest to fresh if I don't have fresh to use, if I didn't get it at the grocery store because we don't have it growing. And next I've got some canned goods, some canned foods back here. I have got from Walmart. These are just great value. I always look for the cheapest deal I can find. We don't have a lot of grocery stores with really good deals around here like some of you do. So usually Walmart is the best deal that I can find. Mandarin oranges and crushed pineapple. These are a couple of things that we were just low on. We keep an eye on our inventory, and when we're getting low on things, obviously we replace it. So I got a dozen of each of these cans. Mandarin oranges I do use sometimes in recipes, and it's something the kids just like to snack on. And crushed pineapple is mostly for recipes. I don't usually use crushed as something we snack on. We had plenty of diced and plenty of tidbits. And so I grabbed these two. And of course, oranges and pineapple, living in Maine here, this is something we would never be able to grow here. So if we weren't able to get things from the store, this is something we would have to make sure that we had stocked up, either canned or freeze-dried, dehydrated in some form. Next, I got a bunch of these media crema. You might have seen, if you follow my Deals and Steals group on Facebook, I got a really wicked good deal a while back on these media crema. They were in the clearance aisle at my Walmart for $1 a can, which was considerably less than half price, which was awesome. I love to have these cans in my Prepper Pantry. It's basically like a light cream or a heavy cream in a can, and you can do all sorts of things with it. It's great for dishes that you would use heavy cream in, or half and half, or light cream. I've used it in things like chicken and dumplings and different soups where you would put a cream in it. You can use this to make sour cream if you stir in some vinegar. There's all sorts of different things you can do with this. It's really a great addition for a Prepper Pantry. This is one of my must-have dairy items, and getting it for $1 a can was amazing. So I grabbed a bunch when I saw it, and I kept grabbing more if they still had it when I went back. And so now I am pretty well stocked, because this was something that I wasn't low on. I have quite a bit down in my food storage. I have a few cases, but I figured when I could get it for $1 a can, I was gonna grab it, because your canned goods are almost an indefinite shelf life. I mean, not quite, but they'll last a very, very long time, you know, well past their best by dates. The couple things you would have to watch out for: some people have had issues with pineapple, I think because of the acids in it maybe. I've never had issues with pineapple. And the other thing is the pop tops. Sometimes people have reported having trouble with the pop tops not lasting as long. I've honestly never had issues with really any of those things, probably because we do keep our stuff rotated pretty well. We try. So I don't worry too much about that, but just remember that your canned goods will last a very long time. So if you have the space to store them and you find a good deal, grab as much as you can. And then here I've got a few different cans of pie filling. I've got some cherry and some blueberry, and this is really just replacing and restocking where we've used some recently. We made a cheesecake dip for 4th of July and we made it look like a flag. So this was replacing what we used, because I do keep pie fillings on hand. They can be really good for lots of desserts. I've done lots of shelf-stable desserts with these. You can take a can of pie filling, dump it in the Dutch oven, mix a box of cake mix with a can of lemon lime soda, or any can of soda really, pour it over the top of the pie filling, bake it in the Dutch oven with charcoal or wood fire coals, anything like that, and it's a really delicious dessert. I've done a walking strawberry cheesecake that I used pie filling in that was completely shelf stable. It was part of one of my meals in a bag, and you could use any flavor of pie filling for that. And I definitely think sweets and desserts are an important thing to keep in your Prepper Pantry, partly for morale boosting and things like that, but partly because you got to remember that not every situation is going to be an end of the world as we know it situation. You might have just power out for a few days or a few weeks. You might be trying to keep some normalcy for your family, try to keep your family occupied, not going stir crazy. You know, you can't control when these things will happen. They might happen during a holiday season or around a birthday, so you just might want to have something nice to do. So it's important to have some good sweet treats in your Prepper Pantry. Next, I've got a couple of these little jars of the Hoosier Hill Farms sauce mixes. They just came out with these. They're not that new, but they're kind of new. And they've got probably at least about 5 different ones. So this is a 3 cheese and the Alfredo sauce. I think I've tried just about every one of these sauces. These are just some I was buying more of. They do have directions on the side how to use them to make like a soup consistency, a sauce consistency, or a dip consistency, because they have so many uses. Next, I've got my Thrive Life order for the month. This is, of course, freeze-dried food, and everything here has a 25-year shelf life. But like I said, it doesn't matter if it can last for 25 years. That doesn't mean it should sit there for 25 years. So we do keep this stuff rotated as well. And it's given us a lot of benefits just using it as part of our everyday food. So I've got a couple of number 10 cans here, which are gallon-sized cans. I've got green beans, and I've got sausage crumbles. Most everything that I bought here is on sale this month, and that's usually how I plan my shopping, is I try to get what's on sale. If you want to stay up to date on what's on sale with foods like these, then we do have a text alert service. You can text SALE to my number down at the bottom of the screen, and I'll also put it in the video description, and we will send you any coupon codes that come out, any alerts for sales and things like that. But my method when I'm shopping is I usually look first at what's on sale. I look at what has the steepest amount of discounts, and then I also compare it to our inventory. We keep an inventory of everything, so I see what we have the least of and what's on sale for the biggest discount, and that's how I decide what to grab. So I got some green beans this month. These are a great thing to have on hand. And then, of course, the sausage crumbles. We use the sausage crumbles in lots of different recipes. It's a very mild sausage, so you can use it in breakfast recipes, you can use it in dinner recipes, anything you want. Now, like I mentioned, this is one good reason why we keep things like this on hand. Like I mentioned, our garden last year. It's important to know how to grow your own food, but at the same time, it's equally as important to understand that you can't rely on that. because it just takes, you know, one weather event or other type of event and it can do away with your whole year's crop. And so you can't have that be something that you rely upon 100%. And it's the same thing with SHTF situations. A garden and animals, like some people say, we don't need to store meat because we grow our own meat, we raise our own meat, eggs, chickens, pigs, whatever. But in an SHTF situation, anything that is outside your home, such as the garden growing or animals that you're raising, is a lot harder to protect and control than things that are inside your home, which is why you need to have a good supply of food stored inside your home as well, because you can protect that a lot more easily. And it's not as dependent upon things like the weather and weather events like that. And then back here I also have some of the pantry can sizes, which is more like a quart can size, so it's smaller than the family cans. And these are items that only come in the smaller cans, which is why I got them in the smaller cans, because usually the larger cans are a better deal. It's a better deal to grab the larger cans, and it's a better deal to shop by the case when you can. So I got a case of these smaller cans. I got pomegranate yogurt bites because these are amazing. They're so delicious. They're one of our favorite snacks, and they're a limited time item. They're not always available. And so they just came back in stock, so I wanted to grab them while I could. And the good thing about the freeze-dried yogurt is because freeze drying, part of what's so beautiful about freeze drying is it maintains basically almost all the nutrition from the original food. And so freeze drying does maintain the cultures and the probiotics that are in the yogurt. So this is also a healthy thing to have on hand because it has those live and active cultures that yogurt's supposed to have. And then the other item that I grabbed was the tomato sauce mix. And I grabbed this because the sauces don't go on sale very often, so I grab them whenever they go on sale. And this is basically like a spaghetti sauce. It's not just plain tomato sauce. If you wanted something like plain tomato sauce, you would just use tomato powder, which is just tomatoes and has no seasoning whatsoever. And you can just add varying amounts of water to make it into tomato paste, tomato sauce, tomato juice, anything like that. And you could certainly season it up yourself and make a spaghetti sauce, but this is a complete mix. So this has everything you need. It's the complete sauce and it tastes really good. We really like it. I use this in my meals in a jar. It's a lot easier if you want like that spaghetti sauce type of flavor to just use this product rather than having to try to recreate it from tomato powder, seasonings, and everything else. And the other reason that I like to have this on hand is because you can make as much or as little as you want. So if I have somebody who just wants, you know, to have a bowl of spaghetti as a snack, I don't have to open up a whole jar of sauce that might just sit in the fridge and be moldy by the time we are going to use the rest of it. So I know that I can just make a little bit of this at a time. And this is about the size of a jar of spaghetti sauce, but it's equivalent to multiple jars of spaghetti sauce once it's reconstituted into a sauce. So that's some of the many reasons why I like to keep the tomato sauce mix on hand in my prepper pantry. Over here I've got some more random kind of things, some first aid things. I've got, this is a burn shield burn dressing, emergency burn dressing. This is a 2-pack. We like to keep these in our first aid kits, and I keep this in my trauma kit, keep them in my vehicle, lots of different places. This is a really good first aid item to have. And then these are Aquaphor mini tubes. There's 2 mini tubes in each. I got 2 packs. Aquaphor is a really, really great skin protectant. I've used it on everything from babies when my kids were babies to I still use it today on my lips, or, you know, we put it on cheeks if we're going to be out in the sun and wind. It's good to have on hand, but you need very, very little. So these little tubes are great to keep in first aid kits or to travel with and things like that, because all you need is a tiny amount. It works really great. And then I've got a bag of pool shock here. Pool shock is good to keep on hand because you basically can sanitize water with pool shock the same way that you would with bleach, but liquid bleach has a very, very short shelf life, which a lot of people don't realize. About 6 to 9 months shelf life on a bottle of liquid bleach. So pool shock, granulated pool shock, has a much, much longer shelf life as long as you can keep it stored carefully, because it's very caustic. So you either want to store it in its original container, which I don't even trust these original containers very well, or you want to put it in glass with a plastic lid. You don't want to put any kind of metal anywhere near it because it'll eat right through it. With pool shock, this amount of pool shock, this is 1 pound of pool shock, and this is enough to treat, I believe it's like 10,000 gallons of water. A lot of water with this small thing of pool shock. So this will last a long time. It's pretty inexpensive. What I sometimes like to do is replace it every year or so and give my last pack to someone who has a pool, so I don't have to worry about it getting old, even though it can last a very long time if it's stored properly. But you want to make sure when you're getting pool shock with the purposes of thinking you're going to treat water, you want it to have at least this calcium hypochlorite content of at least 68%. But I think what's most important is to make sure that you're following instructions for the percent that you have, because obviously you can make your solution as strong as you need it based on the calculations that are used, but I wouldn't want to have to do the calculations myself. So make sure you're using instructions for the percent of pool shock that you have, and make sure you have those instructions printed out or written down somewhere and saved in a safe place so that you'll have them, because if we're in a bad situation, you're probably not going to be able to go to the internet and look it up. So that's important to have all those little details that you might forget, or you might think you know, but you might forget in a stressful situation. Make sure you have all that in written form. Now over here, I've got, this box came and I was like, what is this? What did I order? But I opened it up and I realized what it is. This is some more of these compressed towelettes. These are really tiny, just like a little tablet. And what it is it's a compressed, like basically thick, soft paper towel. So if you put this in water, it'll start to open up, and then you'll have a cloth. You can use it for cleaning. You can use it for all sorts of things. So these are great because they take up very little space. You can throw a couple into any kit you have, first aid kits, bug out bags, use them for travel. They're really great to have. You get a ton of them, so they'll last a very long time. Now this is something I just discovered, dishwashing and degreasing wipes. I don't think these are going to be exactly like what I was really hoping to find. I think Palmolive used to make them. It was a little plastic tub and it had these cloths, these dry cloths, and you could just wet them a little bit, and they had dish soap already in them, and you could use them to wash your dishes. And they were great for like camping. That's the only time I ever used them, was for camping, but they would be great for throwing in bug out bags or traveling and things like that. I don't think this is exactly like this because these are not dry. They are inside, they're wet with some sort of a solution. But I did read really good reviews about them, and you can see they're very thin. They're very easy to tuck away. Same type of uses. They would be good for travel. They'd be great for bug out bags, all kinds of kits like that. So I'm going to give these a try, and hopefully I'll like them as much as a lot of the people that wrote reviews do. Next, I've got a bag of basil. This is just basil leaves. I have bought this bag before. It was one of the cheapest ways that I found to buy basil, and I use a lot of dried basil. I have my favorite recipe that I make for myself quite often. I put really a couple of like palmfuls of this in. I do it by the handful, so I go through quite a bit of basil. So I was happy with this basil, and it was a good price, so I had to get some more of this. And next I've got some these Chalkboard sticky labels, and I've got all different sizes. Now you've probably seen that I use the labels about this size. I use on a lot of my items in my kitchen. If you've ever watched me do a meal in a jar, a lot of my canisters have these labels. I like to keep everything kind of uniform if I can, so I try to get the same shape of labels in different sizes, because I have some canisters that need smaller labels, and likewise I have bigger like tote boxes that I might want a larger label on. It may or may not have food in it, but I do keep some food in totes. Like we have lots of different pastas, extra pastas in totes, things like that. So I got several different sizes. I got the really big labels. I got the small labels, which I think this is the size I was hoping for. When I ordered them, I wasn't sure if they were going to be the size I wanted. And this is a multi-pack that I've used for years, and I use the small labels, and this is what I was hoping they would be the same size as these really small ones. And I think that they are, because I run out of the really small ones, and I still have some of the more medium sizes. So, and this was just another multi-pack where I was hoping for the small ones to be the size I wanted, but I will use them all on different things. And next I've got some heavy cream powder. I use this in a lot of my meals in a jar. This adds a really great creaminess, kind of like with the media crema, the canned cream. If you need shelf stable, and in my meals in a jar, like I mentioned, I need all dry ingredients because they're just dry, shelf stable, just add water. So I use heavy cream powder quite a bit. So this is the cheapest way to buy it, is in this 5-pound bag. So I grabbed one of these. And next I got this little lunchbox thing. This is from Walmart, just a lunch tote. Now what I use lunch boxes like that for a lot is when we do like the just add water pouch meals, the emergency meals, I like to have a bag to stick these in, pour the boiling water in it, and put the meal right inside the pouch, because the pouch helps to keep the heat in. It helps it to refresh better and to stay hotter for when you're ready to eat it. And I usually get the really cheap ones that they have at back to school time, and I'll pick them up on clearance. They're a little bit smaller than this. I can usually get them for 50 cents or $1 after back to school time. But I was making my daughter a kind of preparedness kit that I made for my daughter, something to get her started. And I gave her some meals like these. And these are the bigger meals. So when I use the bigger meals, this pouch was the perfect size for the bigger meals. So I decided I was going to get myself a bag like this too, so that we could have them for when we do these meals, because we take meals like this when we do traveling a lot and different things like that. So this bag is actually perfect size for the larger meals, and so that's why I grabbed this one. Because actually the smaller bags that I usually get at back to school time were not even available right now at the store. I guess they only have them at back to school time. And next I got a big bag of sunflower seeds. We keep a lot of different nuts and seeds on hand. They're nutritious. They have healthy fats and things like that. They're good food to have on hand. They pack a lot of energy in them. I usually try to find the best deal because we eat quite a lot of them. So this bag of sunflower seeds was about the best deal I could find. Those are roasted, salted. This time of year we use these in our broccoli salad and other salads. So we use them for more than just snacking. So this time of year they'll go pretty quickly, because I will say that out of all the nuts and seeds that we store, the couple that I've had the most issues with them going rancid faster are probably sunflower seeds and macadamia nuts. So those are the two that I try to be careful with. But I can put extras of these into glass mason jars and vacuum seal them, and I think they'll stay good for quite a while. Next, I got some pet items. Definitely don't want to forget to prep for your pets. We need to prep for our pets the same as we prep for ourselves. We definitely need to store food for them, store first aid supplies, everything that they would need in an emergency, as well as having bug out or evacuation supplies for our pets as well. So this is a vitamin supplement for pets. It's like a powder, and it's a really good one. And if you're using a commercial pet food, usually it's going to contain all the nutrients that they need. But I have been looking into making my own pet food. I've made cat food, and I am researching making dog food, because you really need to be careful. There's a lot of recipes out there. A lot of people follow, some recipe they found on Pinterest that looks really good, but a lot of those recipes just really aren't nutritionally balanced for what pets actually need. They look good to us, but pets have very different nutritional needs. So it takes a lot of research to actually get ready to make their food yourself if you want it to be really healthy and really appropriate. And this was just something that I got so that I can add this as a little bit of extra insurance. And just like us, they can also use a little bit of extra insurance in their diet, especially if you have a picky eater. And then I got another one of these. I did show one of these in a haul pretty recently. This is a collapsible portable bowl, but this is a double bowl. So this is all one set. As you can see, it has legs, so it lifts it up off the ground. You could do food in one side and water in the other, or you could feed multiple dogs at the same time if your pets get along and they can eat that close to each other. We have 6 dogs, so we definitely need a lot of stuff, and we definitely have a lot of travel supplies for them. You can also use one bowl opened and one bowl closed to be a lid, so you could carry the food right in this bowl and then open it up and put the water in the other side. Here's the one that I got before, so you can see the size difference, because we have dogs of all sizes. We have some smaller dogs and we have some bigger dogs. So I also like that this has a little carabiner clip, so you could clip it onto a backpack or anything like that if you were bringing it along with you, or if you just are going out for the day, not an emergency, not a bug out situation, you could still use this, and you could just clip it onto your, your day bag or your dog's little bag if you have a bag for your dog or cat. And next I got some supplements. This is a probiotic, like a prebiotic and probiotic digestive supplement. This does wonders for our dogs, especially our elderly dog who has a lot of issues with her belly and her tummy issues. It's really good for keeping a good consistency in their stools. It keeps their immune system boosted, because all of our immune system really is mostly in our gut. And so just like us, it's important for preparedness to keep their immune systems healthy and to keep their gut health good. And if you are in a situation like an emergency situation, the stress and sometimes they won't eat right, and so the stress and the eating habits can really cause a lot of gut issues. So these are definitely important to have on hand for emergencies as well. So I did get 3 containers because, like I said, we have 6 dogs. So we can go through these pretty quickly. This is actually reformulated. We have been using this for a little while, but it was like a capsule with a powder inside. And so we would just break open the capsule and dump it on the food. But now they've made it into chews, like basically into treats. So it makes the dogs really want to take them. And these can be used for cats as well. So depending on the cat, they may or may not want to take the treat as well. So if they don't, you just crumble it up onto their food. I also got this set. Now this comes as a set, which is why it's all bagged together. So I'm going to open it up so we can look at what's in here. This is called the Keep 'em Calm set. And this is for pets. This is for dogs. Now, of course, I can buy all of these items separately, but I save a little bit of money by buying them together as a set. And I wanted them all. And it also gives me free shipping when I throw them in an easy ship. And I always use the easy ship option because it also lets me save up points that I can use towards free items in the future, which is actually pretty awesome. So what this is a couple of supplements. There's a CBD supplement and there is a chillax calming supplement and a CBD bone. Now it's important to notice that the CBD for the pets does not have any psychoactive ingredients. So this is just for the holistic beneficial ingredients, and it's infused into this bone so they can chew this. Of course, chewing is a calming thing for them, and then the CBD adds an extra bit of calming to them. So this is great for stressful situations, which could include emergencies, storms, evacuations, being in shelters, being in hotels. It could include travel. And then, of course, it's useful for other things too, stressful situations like fireworks and things like that. Now, these 2 supplements are a little bit different from one another. This is like a maintenance supplement that you would give them every day, and it helps with a whole bunch of different things. It's for calming, behavioral issues, cognitive issues, mobility, digestion, boosting the immune system, and problems with seasonal allergies and joint discomfort. So this is kind of like a do-it-all supplement that you give them every day for maintenance. This is a more as-needed type of supplement, so you give this just before a stressful event. Like if there is a storm coming and you know your pet reacts badly to that, you can give them this. We actually use this. We have our husky puppy. Well, I guess he's not really a puppy anymore. He's like an adolescent, but he's our youngest and he's quite obnoxious, and the groomer has a really hard time with him. And therefore it takes her like 3 hours to groom him, and it costs me a lot of money. So this last time that we took him to the groomers, we gave him this ahead of time, and she said that it was night and day difference. He was so different. He was a lot calmer. She was able to cut the cost down because she was able to groom him more quickly. So I was super happy with that. So this has a lot of uses beyond just emergencies, but we do like to keep these on hand with our emergency gear and with our bug out equipment for our pets. Now, both of these supplements can be used for dogs and cats. They have different sizes of the supplements. Of like this, they have large and small, so we get both, but I could just use more of the small for our larger dogs, but it's more economical to get the large and the small and split them that way. And then the bone, of course, is only for dogs, not cats, but that comes in 2 sizes. So I'm working on making sure that we have one of these for all of our 6 dogs in our emergency supplies, as well as what we use for them on an everyday basis. And you can see that the expiration on these is pretty good. So I like that because I am able to keep an advanced supply on hand. And next I got another bag of pet food, the freeze-dried pet food. Now, we know all the benefits of freeze-dried food for ourselves, and so we started to get interested in looking into freeze-dried food for our pets. I mean, the benefits of freeze-dried food, some of the biggest benefits are that it has a really long shelf life, which is not true of most dried, kibbled pet food. It has a very pretty short shelf life, actually, doesn't store well. So if you're storing food for emergencies, keeping extra food on hand, you want to do canned and or freeze-dried. And the other benefit with freeze-dried food for humans or for pets is that it maintains just about all of the nutrition that's in the food. And so it's about the healthiest food that you can get for yourself or for your pets. So this one that I got is the turkey recipe. I have gotten the beef recipe before, so I wanted to try the turkey recipe. So it is all, real meat, real organs, fruits and vegetables, and the vitamin and mineral supplements that they need. And one thing that I really love about this food is this can be given to dogs and cats. So this could be used for all of our pets, which especially in emergency situations, that's great because I don't have to stock as many different types of food. All of our pets can eat this. Some of the cats like this in its dry form like this, but the other thing you can do is crumble it, crunch it, powder it, mix it with liquid, and make it like a pate, just like a canned food pate. But this is going to be a lot lighter and easier to store and easier to travel with than the canned food. Now, of course, this food is meant for, you know, everyday use. So this is not packaged for long-term storage. It's really packaged to have about a 2-year shelf life, but I can repackage this just like with a lot of different things that you purchase. If you purchase rice in a bag at the grocery store, it's not really packaged to last a long time. So we repackage that if we want to keep it for long term. So that's the same thing that I would do with this freeze-dried food, is repackage it. And I am going to be repackaging some of this in quantities that we would use at one feeding for our animals, so that I can have packets that I can put in our bug out gear if we needed to leave with our animals. Each packet is going to be the amount of food that we use in one feeding. We had been looking around for better food options for our pets, but something happened recently that made me kind of step it up a little bit. We usually had been feeding our dogs kibble. It was one of the better brands, but it was just something you can buy at the grocery store, Walmart, whatever. And I was going to refill the container that I keep it in. And I looked down in the container to see whether I needed to wash it, because I don't clean it every time I refill it. I just do it when it seems like it needs it. And I was looking down at the crumbs in the bottom of the container, and I saw something that caught my eye. And I am 99.9% sure that it was a cricket leg. And that gave me a lot of pause and made me think with a lot of the things I've been hearing about pet food and the pet food industry in general. And so I really wanted to start looking for some better options. Now, granted, there could be many different explanations for how that leg got there, but I'm pretty sure it didn't get there in my home. So we really started to take a look at different pet food suppliers and pet food manufacturers and look for something that we thought was a better choice. Now, just like with human food, freeze-dried food is a little bit more expensive than just a regular food, just because freeze drying is it's a high-tech process. It's an energy intensive process. It's an expensive process. If you buy freeze-dried food or you freeze dry your own, you know that to be true. So while I would love to feed all of our dogs 100% the freeze-dried raw food, I know that would be probably the best option for them. But so for right now, we're just using this as a topper and a supplement. So we're using it as a part of their daily food and using kibble for the rest of their food. We have improved on the kibble that we've been buying, but this is just sort of an additive and a supplement into the food that we give them every day for now. If I just had 1 or 2 of our really small dogs, then I would be feeding them this 100%. But we have 6 dogs, and like I mentioned, a couple of them are bigger and eat quite a bit. So that would be a lot of the freeze-dried food to have to use. So I would like to get there and possibly even get to where I can make and freeze dry my own. But like I mentioned, a lot of research goes into creating a really healthy pet food, and a lot of time goes into that as well. So for now, we are using this as part of what we're feeding them, as well as using it for our emergency preparation too. Now, we do have our text alert system if you want to get notified when there's coupons and sales and deals on holistic pet products, or when we release a new video about prepping for pets specifically. Then go ahead and text pets to my number that's down in the description box, as well as on the bottom of the screen here, and I will add you onto that list and send you a message whenever there's anything new. You can also go to the website that's going to be down in the description box as well, and just create a free account, and that way you can be on our email list as well. And you can also set up a free pet profile if you're interested in finding out some personalized recommendations for your pet specifically. And then back here, I've got a couple boxes of hot cocoa. This is not for pets. It's just happened to be where it fit on the counter. We go through a lot of cocoa. It's something I definitely like to keep on hand. We use it when we're camping. It's something we would definitely want to have in an emergency. It's so comforting, especially if you have like a wintertime emergency, your power's out and it's the middle of winter, it's cold in your house. Having a hot cup of cocoa could be everything. So this is a couple of 50 packs. So there's 100 cocos there because we were getting kind of low. And then in this box, this just came. This is my latest order of Ruby. This is something I've been using for a long time for health purposes, but I also love it for prepping purposes. It's all of these little packets of fruit and vegetable smoothies in different flavors and different formulas. So they each have something that they are supposed to be good for. So this is good for your focus and your mental health and all that. Like the red, this is for heart and cardio. So if you look at the ingredients, you're going to see things that we know are good for like your cardiovascular health, things like beet, tomato. You know, these are all things that are tart cherry, good for your cardiovascular health. So I use these on a daily basis because I don't always do a great job of getting fruits and vegetables in my diet. Some days I do pretty good. Some days I do abysmally bad. And so I love knowing that one of these packets gives me 3 to 5 complete servings of fruits and vegetables, and it's everything. It's every part of the fruit. It's not just juice. It's not, you can see it includes all the fiber that's in the fruit. It's the whole fruit, freeze-dried and powdered. So it maintains all the nutrition that's in the fruit, all the fiber, all the vitamins, all the minerals, and it gives you the fruit, the whole fruit, and nothing but the fruit. But that's also why I love these for prepping, because if you look at these packets, they're super tiny. And they're super easy to stash and pack. And so if you were packing up, say, a bug out bag and you were adding snacks and food in there, fruits and vegetables is not going to be probably something that's going to be really present in that bag, because it's harder to travel with things like applesauce cups and, you know, things like that. So this is a quick and easy, light, portable way to include some fruits and vegetables and keep your health up. And this can be mixed with water. If you're going to drink it, you can mix it with water. It just makes a smoothie. I've found that I really, really like it if I mix it with some coconut milk or some almond milk. It's a whole different ball game. It's delicious. It's so amazing that way. But it can also be mixed into oatmeal or yogurt or anything like that, especially if you were on the go with a bug out bag or something and you didn't want to have an extra sort of drink. You could mix into something you were eating and get your fruits and vegetables. The only thing I'm disappointed about here is this was a build your own box that I did. I chose all my own flavors and I kind of made it evenly divided. And I have a subscription for this. Basically, almost any company nowadays that you order things from has like a subscribe and save type of service where you can save money and usually get free shipping and things by subscribing. And the good thing to remember about those services is you're almost never locked into anything. So read, the rules about it and utilize it to save money. And then you can usually turn it off if you don't want to get it for a while, or you can skip, or you can just completely cancel it. Just use it on your terms to save money. But I have this on a subscription and I had set this box up. And my box came and I realized after I opened it that they have added a new flavor. It's a calming flavor. So they've got one for mental focus. They've got one for cardiovascular health. This is like a detox and gut health blend. And then they've got an immunity boosting blend. Well, the new blend is a calming blend for stress relief. And it's a tropical guava flavor. It sounds really good. And I completely forgot about it until after I got my box. So I didn't add any of the new flavors. So I was really kind of bummed about that. So I might just place an extra order so that I can try that other flavor, or I might just wait till my next box. But I really consider this a good secret weapon for prepping and for all sorts of things. My kids even like these. My youngest daughter is pretty picky, but she begs me to have these. So they're really just a great tool to have in your nutritional arsenal. And then the last little thing that I've got here, this is actually a pen holder, and I grabbed this off of Amazon, and I'm using this for keeping my measuring spoons in. If you have ever watched me very much, you probably know that I have this weird thing where I don't like to use the same measuring utensil in multiple foods without washing it first. I just don't want to transfer any of that flavor or powder. I don't know. Just a weird thing that I have. So I have many sets of measuring utensils, just because if I'm cooking a lot and I don't want to keep taking the time to wash them, I have multiple sets. But I like to keep them organized by the size of the spoon and not by the set, because, if I need, this is 3/4 of a teaspoon, I know where to go. And what I was using is this kind of thing I concocted. This is some pen holders, some separate pen holders from Dollar Tree. And I got 3 of them because that's what I needed to hold the amount of measuring utensils that I use. I was going to glue these together and make like a single unit, but I hadn't gotten around to it. So I've been keeping them in this basket from Walmart. And it just takes up a lot of space in my cupboard, which is where I usually keep it. And it's always kind of just a pain in the butt getting it in and out. So I thought I would try this when I saw this on Amazon and it was on sale. I thought I would try this, and because it's upright like this, I think I can keep it out on my counter, and it'll be a lot more handy than having to get it in and out of my cabinet like I was with the other thing. And it seems like it's going to work pretty well. I just got it in the mail and set it up with my spoons, so I haven't gotten to really try it in action that much, but I think it's going to work, and I'm going to keep it. I got to figure out what I'm going to put down here and figure out what I'm going to put in the little drawer. Maybe I'll put a couple measuring cup sets down here. A lot of my sets are magnetic, and my magnets stick to this metal. So I might be able to utilize that fact and use some of my magnetic measuring cup sets. But anyways, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of this, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a good solution for me and be able to keep stuff handy right on the counter. Wait, don't go anywhere. I thought I was done, but I actually had to run out and grab my Azure Standard order real quick. And since it's just a couple of things this time, I thought I would show you what I got. If you've never shopped Azure Standard, they're definitely worth checking out. They're like a giant natural food store online. They have drops. Check and see if there's a drop in your area, if you can get stuff delivered to your area. And they have great quality standards. They're a family-owned company. They don't allow things like artificial colors in anything they sell or any of those other nasty chemical things that we don't like in our food. And they have really great prices. They're definitely worth checking out. I'll have a link down in the description box if you want to check that out. What I got this time was just a few things. I got a case of tea. This is the Traditional Medicinals Herbal Cold Care. It used to be called Gypsy Cold Care, but apparently they had to change the name for some reason. But we use this a lot. We go through a lot of this when people are sick in the house, and we did just get over a few people being sick, so we had to replenish our tea supply. So this is 6 boxes of the tea, and it was a really good price. I got a couple bags of bulk items. These are raw pumpkin seeds and raw sunflower seeds. Now they sell all sorts of things like this, and they have great prices. You can get all different sizes. You can get like 1 pound bags. This is a 5 pound bag. You know, you can save more by buying in bulk, but you don't have to buy in bulk if you don't have a use for that much. Both of these are super healthy items to have around. Like I mentioned earlier, we got the roasted salted sunflower seeds from Amazon, but these raw ones I got from Azure. The raw sunflower seeds have some health benefits, especially for like your animals. They can be a dewormer if they're raw, and they also can be sprouted. The raw ones can be sprouted. So there's a lot of different uses. So I got a 5 pound bag of these. And then the raw pumpkin seeds, I do like to snack on these. They're less carbs than the sunflower seeds, but I actually use a lot of these for our guinea pigs because we have hairless guinea pigs, and they need some things for their skin, and something that can really help them out is the pumpkin seeds, and they love them. They're a nice little treat for them as well. And actually I keep them in a glass mason jar with a Parmesan cheese lid on top of their cage, and I accidentally knocked it off the other night and smashed the jar, so I had to throw away all the seeds that I had left. So that was really unfortunate. So I had to get some new ones. And then the final thing that I got, that I get there pretty regularly because I use this as a supplement. I try to use it every day. This is a prebiotic. It's a keto prebiotic. And so it is really, really good for your gut health and digestive health. It's just a really tiny scoop is a serving. And I put some in tea or coffee usually every day along with my collagen and some other things that I put in. And I really, really love what this has done for my digestive health and my gut health. So I make sure to always have some of this on hand. So I get some pretty regularly from Azure Standard. But that was all I got from them this month. If you have never shopped Azure Standard, head down to the video description and check them out because they're really an awesome, awesome company. I also have a video that tells a little bit more about them and how you shop them. So I'll link that down there as well. What have you added to your preps lately, or what's on your list? Don't forget to check the description box below the video for links to anything I've talked about, as well as special resources and discount codes exclusively for our viewers. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a spaghetti emoji down in the comments, and check out this video next for my list of what you should be stocking in your Prepper Pantry. I'm Jera with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.